Why is she successful in your assessment? Why is she Oprah? What is it about her?
Yeah, so I studied her. I'm a people watcher, and I worked for Oprah after I worked for Enver. And the similarity to me is that when I started working for Enver, he went from multimillionaire to billionaire. And that to me was really interesting because of how few billionaires, there are in the world. So I started to journal what I learned from Enver. Then I start working for Oprah and I noticed similarities. And what was wild to me is here are two people who are completely different, one woman, one man, one from the US, one Turkey, one married, one not, one Christian, one Muslim. It's like completely different, but yet they had these same characteristics. And for Oprah in particular, I noticed we used to go on these road shows for the show to sell the show to advertisers. And before the road show, she would always host a dinner. And these dinners, there would be, 20, 30 people at the dinner. You'd have all types of athletes and politicians. And, she would have she would bring some of her girls from her school in South Africa would also be at the table. It would be this potpourri, this eclectic buffet of various people. And she would sit and she would conduct these amazing dinners. And I realized that at these dinners, that was her education, was the dinner. Like she was being educated on what was happening in the world, what's going to happen tomorrow, right? Because she had a lot of the playmakers at the table. She was learning about different perspectives. She was teasing out her own ideas and debating them before she would take them on screen. She would do this in these intimate dinner settings. I noticed Enver would do the same thing. Massive dinners, 20, 30 people every night. He would have these massive dinners and he would do the same thing. The concept is never eat alone. Keith Ferrazzi has a book called Never Eat Alone, which I think is a phenomenal book, but it's about the power of socializing and the power that you get from essentially strengthening the weak ties in your network.